people are vying for these positions generally. But Frank, stay with us.
Yeah, Frank, you know, Idayat is actually, Madam Idayat is actually throwing it to you, hoping to see how well the police is going to cope with this, even though both of you are in black. I'm wondering how to distinguish between both, having come out in black as well as she has. But looking at the situation for tomorrow, some places will be having supplementary elections as well. How is the police prepared for that one? Because basically those people who will be voting in those areas, designated areas by INEC or identified areas by INEC, will be having 2 ballot papers. Does that in any way suggest to the police force that you may have to increase your presence in such areas?
We've already identified the areas where we needed to up our games. And that's why you notice that in some states of the Federation, special arrangements have been made for specific local governments. For example, in Imo State, the IGP directed very special security arrangements for Olu local government area as well as Okigwe local government area. While in states like Benue, for instance, 8 local government areas are getting very special security arrangements. In Plateau, we have 6 local government areas where we are putting very specific, tailor-to-suit security arrangement to tackle or take care of localized security challenges that we have identified in those areas. In Taraba State, we identified 9 local government areas that we are paying very special attention to, and we have again designed a very customized security architecture for those 9 local government areas. But in all, the entire country, every inch of the soil of Nigeria falls within the jurisdiction of the Inspector General of Police, and therefore IGP Mohammed Abubakar Damo is paying very special attention to every state of the Federation, every local government within Nigeria, but with special tailor-to-suit security arrangement for each state, each local government, each ward, as the case may be. It doesn't matter to us whether there is a supplementary election going on, because the good thing here is that the entire elections will be taking place, the entire voting will be taking place within the same time. So and that gives us an advantage. It gives us an advantage because the security arrangement we've made will cover both the supplementary, the gubernatorial, as well as the state houses of assembly election. But certainly there will be some areas that will see improved manpower, increased deployment of logistics. The police air wing, for example, will also be out tomorrow. And there are specific states where the police air wing will be patrolling, surveilling, and providing the ground troops with a lot of intelligence and a lot of information. So I just want to reassure Nigerians again and again that they have nothing really to fear. Indeed, we know that the politicians will be out there planning their games, but it is our responsibility to identify potential areas of danger, isolate them, and neutralize them. And that's exactly what we'll be doing. So for me, I just want to re-echo the warnings that the IGP had already given. If you are planning tomorrow to come out to foment trouble, if you are planning tomorrow to come out to rig election, to snatch ballot boxes, to engage in any act or acts of thuggery, to engage in vote buying, or any other act that is clearly inimical to our electoral process or clearly amount to an infraction of either the electoral law or our subsisting criminal codes and statutes, just be prepared to meet a very strong and stiff resistance, not just from the police, but from other security agencies.
But you talked about some special security arrangements being made for some specific states and areas and all of that. But sometimes a number of state governments have cried foul, so to speak, raised alarm that some of these special security arrangements that you talk about are attempts to intimidate the state or voters in the states for some interests. How do you respond to that?
My response is simple. The Nigerian police force is not a political party. And officers and men of the Nigerian police force are not politicians. We do not owe allegiance to any political party or specific group of politicians. We owe allegiance to the Constitution and the laws of this country and to the people of this country. The IGP has said repeatedly that under his watch, the Nigerian police force will be very professional in the discharge of their responsibilities, particularly as it relates to the conduct and the provision of security for this election. He has equally said repeatedly that under his watch, we will provide a level playing field for all political actors. We will be fair, we will be unbiased, we will conduct our affairs without fear, without favor, and without ill will to anyone. And therefore, I just want politicians to understand this. We will not allow ourselves to be dragged into political controversies. We will remain neutral, and we continue to do what we know how to do best. I've said it again and again. We have a history of having policed our electoral processes for 20 years, 2 decades. And for every time election is conducted in this country, it is a learning curve and a learning process for us. And we've continued to improve in the discharge of our responsibility. I've also said in some other fora in the past that we have also experienced policing even charged atmosphere. We've policed conflict and post-conflict regions. We've participated in several peace operations across the globe. And in those countries, we played key and vital roles in midwifing their electoral system and their democracy. Whether you are talking of Namibia, whether you are talking of Angola, whether you are talking of Mozambique, whether you are talking of Liberia, Sierra Leone, Cote d'Ivoire, whether you are talking of Bosnia-Herzegovina, whether you are talking of East Timor, and several other parts of the country, Somalia, and the rest of them, Sudan, Darfur, and all parts of the world. These are conflict and post-conflict areas, but we still stood beside these people, beside these foreign countries, worked side by side with our colleagues from other parts of the world, and midwife their electoral processes and their democracy. If we can do this and put our lives on the line for other countries, we will even do it better for our own country, Nigeria. So Nigerians should be rest assured we will continue to do what we know how to do best. We've given you our words, and we will walk our talk.